Welcome back, you guys. My name's Jess. If you're new here, I like to talk about movies, books, TV shows, whatever I'm feeling that day. But today is the day we have all been waiting for. And yes, of course, that is the 2022 release of the sequel of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Directed by David Blue Garcia, Texas Chainsaw Massacre follows Leatherface after nearly 50 years of hiding, returning to terrorize a group of idealistic young friends who accidentally disrupt his carefully shielded world in a remote town of Texas. To say this movie was a hot topic in the horror community would be the fucking understatement of the century. Everybody and their mama was excited for this. I shouldn't say excited, was anticipating the release. And listen, let's just get straight to the point. This movie is not a masterpiece. I think everybody was expecting that. It's a chainsaw movie. They're not masterpieces. There was a lot of issues with the plot, continuity-wise, and of course the characters, in chainsaw movies are never great. These are no exception. And there are some things that just did not need to be included in the movie. I mean, did we ever expect to see Leatherface being live streamed while he's slaughtering a group of kids on a party bus? Can you believe those words just came out of my mouth? Listen, just being honest, I am not the biggest fan of the chainsaw movies. Original Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974, I very much appreciate it for what it is, and that is a pillar of the horror community. It's a classic, it stands, it's never going anywhere, and I know I shouldn't place blame, especially when it comes to such an iconic horror movie, but my generation and what I grew up with watching was a lot more bloody, a lot more gory than the original Texas Chainsaw, because if you have seen that, of course, you know it's not very gory. But like I said, of course, I can appreciate the cinematography and the direction that Tobe Hooper wanted to take with that movie. It stands alone. I just should stop explaining about it. I mean, it's Texas Chainsaw. What else is there to say? So, Texas Chainsaw 2022 follows a group of teenagers, young adults. These young adults have moved to the town of Harlow, which, if you didn't know, that is where Leatherface's family lives. We've always seen them on the outskirts, of course, around gas stations, cemeteries, and how could I not talk about the iconic Sawyer home? I mean, what a gem. Prime real estate right there. But it was actually very interesting to see them use the town of Harlow as the backdrop and not the Sawyer home. I feel like it is a very deliberate choice to break away from the comfort of the Sawyer home. And while it is interesting to see the actual town of Harlow and, where they all come from, it just felt a little fake to me. Like it looked like a set. Like it looked like a movie set. I just feel like it's more true to chainsaw roots to use that dirty, disgusting, slimy, sweaty home that just has a lot of memories. But I didn't hate that choice. I thought it was different and they tried to do something to make this movie stand on its own, and I appreciated that. So we see this small group of influencers arrive in the town of Harlow, and we do get a little bit of background into some of the character stories. We find out that the little sister of the main character, she is a school shooter survivor, which is pretty cool. But does anything happen with it? You could argue yes, but not really. So these influencers have basically bought the town, and they're going to sell off some of the older buildings to other influencers who want to start fresh and open their business in a town that's not riddled by violence.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
It definitely was a play on gentrification, and I thought that, it was a really good utilization of this gentrification plotline that got Leatherface out of hiding, and it kind of makes his rage more of a revenge, and I really like that take. But I would be lying if I said this movie disappointed in the kill department, because holy fucking shit, this is carnage candy. There is so much blood, there's so much gore, it is like, I love it, especially for a chainsaw movie. That's all we want.
But
it really relied on a lot of CGI, and that made me really sad. I am personally a fan of practical gore. I do not like when they use CGI for decapitated heads. I think it is definitely my deep, deep, deep love for The Thing by John Carpenter that really makes me appreciate something more when it is crafted by hand and they took the time to actually make it look like a real kill rather than just, you know, use CGI. That was a little disappointing because the kills were sick, they were great, but that was a bit of a letdown. Sticking true to the other Chainsaw movies, the characters are just not likable. I did not find one memorable thing about any of the characters except I really did like the relationship between the main character's younger sister, I think her name was Layla, and the auto shop guy. I thought that was really cute and wholesome. Not like a sexual relationship, but just like a, hey, like, I respect you, you're kind of cool, maybe I'll look up to you one day kind of thing, you know? I really liked that aspect and I wish they would have played into that a little bit more. And they actually did succeed in making you feel a tad bit sympathetic towards Leatherface in the beginning of the movie. They paid fan service, but not overtly so. They had that screeching noise that they always have in the movies, which is just so fucking good all the time. It's so fucking good. And they had the return of some characters that I want to talk about. So, like I said, this will be spoiler free, but I did want to talk about the return of one character, the one we've all been waiting for, Sally Hardesty. From the way that they were marketing this movie, I was expecting it to be more of a Laurie Strode return in the sense that she won't be the main character, but she's going to be in the background driving the plot points. And I was very wrong because they totally went Sidney Prescott with Sally Hardesty's reveal. And not in a good way. Her character absolutely did not need to be in this movie. They only did it because all of the other franchises were bringing back their final girls, and as much as, you know, she's a great final girl, she's not a memorable one. I did save my biggest issue for last, however, and I do think that this is going to be something that is brought up amongst the horror community in reviews online, wherever you get your news from, but Leatherface is not that smart. Leatherface is supposed to be a villain driven by his animal instincts. In this movie, Leatherface goes full Jason Voorhees 2013. He's setting traps, he is being sneaky, and that's not why we love Leatherface. We love him because he is a brutal killing machine that has no feelings. And making him smarter was, in my opinion, not the right direction to take. And I'm just calling it like I see it. I don't think this is going to be something that people are happy with. But if you're newer into the Chainsaw movies, I don't know if you'll pick up on it. I still think it's a very enjoyable watch, but this is something that I noticed right off the bat and I couldn't get it out of my head while I was watching. But at the end of the day, it's another Chainsaw movie. They all kind of float out in space, not knowing where they fall in line. But I really enjoyed this. It's definitely under the original and then the 2003 remake for me. I really enjoyed both of those, but it's very well directed. The shots are meticulous and intentional. It's not pretentious and overly long. It's a short movie and it felt like, you know, it was over in 30 minutes. I mean, it's an hour and 30 minutes long, but it felt short. It knows what it was. And I really enjoyed watching it. And I think everyone will enjoy watching it too. Of course, you know, we have the people who are diehard Chainsaw fans. Respect. I am not one of those, but I can see the issues that are going to be picked apart with this movie. And I think, you know, they're ready for that. But, you know, if you want to watch a good, gory movie, I would highly recommend this one. You know, it's not going on any favorite lists, but it's not a bad movie. Let me know what you guys think. Are you gonna watch it? If you have watched it, did I miss anything? I feel like I brought up the important parts that I picked up on, but if you picked up on anything else, please comment and let me know. I really would love to hear a diehard Chainsaw fan talk about this and their thoughts on it. Please let me know what you guys think, and if you liked this video, please give me a like and a subscribe. It'd really make my day. And speaking of that, guys, we're almost to 100 subscribers, which is just like insane. I didn't even have 100 friends before, and now I have 100 new ones. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Stay creepy.